Alright, before we really take a look at the new things, please let me know as soon as you can if you find out your schedule is going to kind of get in the way again. So I'd rather try and do a makeup lesson at another time, because I really need to see how your progress is sounding and looking. So this is something, we've talked about, the playing smooth with the hammer-ons and pull-offs, and you have definitely shown improvement. Absolutely have shown improvement on this. So that being said, please be very honest with yourself before trying this new one. If you don't think you're playing it even, like if you're not playing those notes evenly, so what the heck was it? I just looked at it a moment ago. Let me see. I'm gonna bring it back up here real quick. No, those are not yours. Hold on. Where is it? Looking at last week's. Nope. There it is. There's last week. Okay. So yeah, when you're doing this, if it's not sounding smooth like this, because what the old Ken would always do is this: pause, pause, pause. So you would put pauses in between stuff. So really be honest with yourself. If last week's exercise is not smooth like this, please do not try the new one. So let's say it is 100% smooth and you're kicking ass. This is what the next one's going to be. And it'll be kind of uneven on how it'll line up with the metronome, but you can still do 2 notes a beat, which I would advise doing on this one. So the thing that's going to be weird is kind of how your picking will be timed. So when you're doing the 2 notes a beat with this, so you're going to be picking in the middle there. So you pick the 10, you do the hammer, hammer, pull, pull, then you pick the 10 again after you've pulled off to it. When you're playing 2 notes a beat, that second note that you pick will happen in between the beat. So that's where it might get confusing. But hopefully my foot is loud enough to hear as I play. So this is what you want it to sound like with 2 notes a beat on this whole thing. I missed the fret! I'm doing it again. So the first note of every bar, you will pick that when the metronome beeps. It's the second note of every bar, it's in the middle. Alright, so let's move on to bends. So looking at that first one, you got 2 notes in every bar. They're the same note each time. So what you're doing is you pick a note. So in this case, you're picking an E to start with, and then you're going to bend this D note up to an E. Now, you're going to be playing that E note first, so you hear what it's supposed to sound like when you bend up that D note. So some things to go over first, though. You got your top 3 strings, the E, B, and G. The top 3, you're going to, when you bend them, you're gonna push them up. You're also going to use 3 fingers when you bend. Every single string, We'll get to things where you can't use 3 fingers like this. But for right now, it is a very good habit to do. 3 fingers. So, say, well, you're going to be bending a bunch of 10. So, like, when you're going to bend the 10, your ring finger's on the 10, and then you get your other 2 fingers right behind it. So my ring's on the 10, my middle's on the 9, my index finger's on 8. And the reason why you want to have all 3 down, you'll have more control over the string, as well as you have more power with 3 fingers instead of 1 when you're bending the string. Now, technically, yes, you could use the pinky, but it's such an awkward digit to use, and most of what you're going to be doing bend-wise, you want that ring finger to be the main guy. So you can use the pinky from time to time, but for what we're doing, focus on the ring finger being the main guy. Also, when you're bending lower strings, the E, A, and D, you're going to pull these down, okay? Pull them down. So the bottom 3 you pull down, top 3 you push up. The lower strings when you bend, you don't have much stuff to worry about when it comes to muting. However, these top 3, what might happen is when you're pushing these, you're pushing the other strings up with you, and then when you let go, you might have some stuff ringing out. So your right hand needs to be muting the lower strings, whatever is beneath the string that you're muting. So don't palm mute the string you're picking, but you do need your hand resting on the other strings so you avoid all that extra string ringing out, all the strings ringing out. So anyway, alright, let's get to the bends. You know it's a bend because there's an arrow pointing up. The one above the arrow means a whole step, and a whole step means a distance of 2 frets. So that 10 with the arrow up and the 1 is saying you bend it up a whole step. So you're bending it up so it sounds like the 12th fret, which is why we're playing the 12th fret first. So this is the first thing. Make sure you're using your fingers to do the bends. Don't be using your wrist to push and pull stuff. Use your fingers. Your wrist might move a little bit, but it's primarily in the fingers. Alright, the next thing, you got 3 notes, and then you have the same 3 notes again. You're just going to bend the first one. So and bend slow when you're working on this stuff. You want to hear the note being bent. You want to hear where it's at. So if you need to pick this note a few times to hear it and go back and forth, that's fine. With bends, the biggest thing is you have to have your ear trained to be able to know what it's doing. There's really no muscle memory involved with bending strings, because every string on every fret requires a different amount of tension in order to bend it to the pitch you're going for. So some of these have a half step bend represented by the 1/2 written above the arrow. That just means a fret above, so it's a 1 fret distance here. So basically same thing, you pick the 3 notes and then you replicate those 3 notes, but you bend the first one. So that's the idea. So here's this whole thing. Same idea for the next. thing is a bit more lead sounding. Just kind of repeating a phrase a couple times and then resolving to an A note. So do that slower now. That. So, and with bends, most people have a hard time hearing if the note is being bent up to the appropriate note. So, definitely another reason why we really got to get together, even if it's a different day. I really want us to, either on Skype or if you're in town, that's, well, it's even better. But, you know, want to make sure that, you know, it's being done proper. So this way, you know, that's one of the things about doing, and I'm sure you know, I might just be blowing smoke out my butt, but, you know, I'm fine doing the videos. I have concern that things might not be happening on your end as accurate as possible, and I'm not saying that to put you down. I'm saying that just so you know I'm concerned, and I want to make sure it's getting done right, so this way you can, you know, be the guitarist you want to be. So that's why it's so important that I'm able to see what you do. Now, here's an option though. If you could actually do a video recording of you going through the stuff and send it to me, that would work. So this way I get some feedback. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, maybe for whatever reason we can't even find a day or time, like if something like this happens again, if you can record yourself, a video of it, and send it to me, that would be really good, as like a worst case scenario type thing. So this way I can see what you're doing, and hey, you get practice recording videos, right? Yeah, so just think about that. Guys, just please, if anything changes, let me know as soon as you can, and let's see the best situation we can work out, so this way I'm able to see how things are going. Especially, I mean, because the bends, like I mentioned, most people have a very difficult time understanding if they're bending the string up to the appropriate pitch, which is all the more reason for us to get together so I can see. So I know you're busy. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. I'm just saying that you know, I want to give you the best instruction I can. I want to help you. All right, bud. Hope things get better for you out there, and best of luck with this stuff. Okay. Guess that's all. Hopefully we'll see you next week and get rolling again.